Hey, thank you guys so much for taking some of your time today just to share your story. If you don't mind, tell us who you are.
My name's Pierre Badil. Uh, I'm 27 years old. I've been part of the church for 3 years and been saved and set free for about 2 years. And I'm part of the security team here at the
Nice.
church.
Hi, my name's Isabel. I'm Pierre's wife. I'm 24 years old. Been saved for about 3 years, 2.5 years
Mm.
around that time frame. I have two daughters, and I'm a greeter in the welcome team.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah,
How did you guys meet each other?
yeah. We met each other through social media.
Wow.
So I met him on Facebook. I didn't know I had him on Facebook for so many years because he was in jail. And then when he started to post on social media, something just like caught my attention. And I just remember going for it, like, and I sent him a message and I said hi. Before I knew it, he responded. So it just all started from there.
And that's where it all started.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
How old were you guys?
I believe I was 21 and she was
I
eight.
was
Eight. You were
18.
18 and I was like 21 or 22.
Wow.
Yes.
Yeah.
And now you guys have children, right?
Yes.
Correct.
Yes.
Yeah.
we
How many
have
children you guys have?
Two daughters.
Two.
Two daughters.
Yes.
So what was your life like when y'all first met each other? What was going on? Because you mentioned that Pierre was in prison or jail.
Yes, he was in prison.
So what was your guys' lifestyle like when y'all first started dating and stuff?
Um, so when we first started dating, it was more like to be honest, it was just a party. We were living a fast life, a life of destruction, just going, clubbing, trying to have fun. I had just gotten out, so I had a lot of time to try to catch up and live my life the way I wanted to. But it was a life full of sin, definitely, and yeah, it was pretty crazy when we were together in the beginning, and I think it was 6 months in when we were together. I find out that my beautiful wife was pregnant with our firstborn
Oh, wow.
daughter, so I was really happy. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, so like you asked, what was our life? I would say just chaotic, just always wanting to be high on something, on some sort of substance. That was our happiness. Other than being together, it was always either drunk, driving drunk, being under the influence of some sort of drug, and fast life, just, um, living life recklessly. Yeah, and then sure enough, before we knew it, we were expecting.
Wow.
Hmm.
When did you guys get married?
Yeah, 2 years.
Nice.
Yes.
2 years.
So
Yeah.
when you guys discovered you're gonna have a baby, did y'all start living with each other?
So as soon as me and her were going out, she just kind of attached herself to me.
She never went home.
She would never want to go home. Know. She'll go home probably like for one day, but then she'll stay at my house for like 3 days. It kind of became a habit where I was like, you know what, you just move into my place, and
Yeah.
after that we just stuck together.
Yeah, he
Uh,
didn't let me go home. He didn't let me go home.
He
for a
didn't let
while.
you go home.
No. And then I wanted to stay too, so we just started to live together. We always wanted to be around each other.
Did you stay in the party scene?
I did. I did for a little while. I feel like it was a rude awakening to me because I lived my life for a certain amount of time in like, always partying, always doing something. So when I conceived and I had my baby girl, deep down inside of me I knew that I needed to make a change. But then I was just so like drawn to that fast lifestyle still that I didn't know how to let go of. So
Mhm.
yeah, we continued to somewhat briefly party a little bit.
Yeah. Even then, I was still part of a gang,
Mhm.
so I had no desire to stop gang banging. I had no desire to stop living the way I wanted to live, the way we were living. I was like, long as I get to provide for my daughter, put money in our bank account, and provide food in the home, I felt like we're good parents. But in reality, we were probably really bad parents.
How'd you get involved in a gang? How'd that happen?
It started when I was 14 years old. I was part of a tagging crew, and from then it was like when we go do like graffitis in the walls. I would hang out in Santa Ana a lot. We started hanging out with different gangs in that area, and uh, from the tagging crew, I just got involved into a street gang, and I'm not sure. It just felt like I guess you could say I got trigger happy. I love the adrenaline of doing destruction in the streets, um, and not just that. I just felt like they were like a family. When I got involved in the gang, I felt like respect was part of it, and I just felt like a whole new different kind of family that I could I felt like safe. It was like a safe place for me, like where I could be myself and be the person that I was living like like a drug addict and living a fast life like everybody else, part of the gang.
Did being a part of a gang, did that ever, what was your thoughts toward him being a part of a gang?
My thoughts, to be honest, I didn't really think anything of it just because it was like normal to me because most of my friends were gang members. Most of my friends were doing the same thing as me. Their, couples were gang members, my friends. So I always told my mom when she would tell me like, you need to like look for a good man and do right, like get out of drugs and stuff. I told her, Mom, you just have to accept the fact that I'm going to marry a gang member. That's what I'm living, and this is what it's going to be. And then sure enough, I met him, and I saw him like as of like a person more than just a gang member. Like I saw him for who he was, his heart. So I didn't really think much of it. It was just normal to me.
When you told your mother, I'm going to marry a gang
Yeah.
member,
Yeah.
what did she say?
She cried. She cried. She was just really disappointed, and she felt like she had failed me as a mother. And I just remember telling her, like, it's just a life that I want to live, and it feels right. And I guess it was just always that sense of protection that I didn't have growing up. And I guess that's it. I just told her to just accept me for who I am and just continue to pray for me.
Did you grow up in a single parent home or?
I did. I grew up in a single parent home. My mom was the sole provider of the house. It was
Wow.
just me and my siblings. So my mom, as much as she wanted to be there for us, she wasn't able to because it was either work or stay home with us and nurture to us. So we always had shoes on our feet. We always had clothes and a table, full of food, fridge full of food. But I was always just lonely. Like I lacked that love that you need from a parent. So unfortunately the enemy came and distorted that for me. Now I have that knowledge that it was the enemy who came and gave me the counterfeit of that, which is drugs and friends that are in the same thing, experience probably the same thing, who got into like those lifestyles to just feel accepted and comfortable, I guess.
When, so you started having thoughts when you were pregnant with your first daughter, like, I need to change my life.
Yeah.
What did you do anything with those thoughts, or was it just the beginning of like, I need to do something different?
Yeah, I guess it was just the beginning of I need to do something different. I didn't really do much with the thoughts of it. I mean, my whole pregnancy, I just didn't really think about it because everybody just talked about like, oh, congratulations. And, but once I actually gave birth, it was like raw. It was just like reality came at me hardcore. And I remember I wasn't sleeping. I had like a whole baby, newborn human being next to me. And, that's when I realized like I need to make a change, but I didn't know how, so I fell into depression. and it caused me to like use more.
Did it scare you?
It did. It did, yeah.
Did you feel like, I don't know what I'm doing?
Yes, absolutely, yes. I felt like I don't know what I'm doing, like, hearing her cry and like, not knowing how to hold her and stuff. Yeah, it was a little scary. Yeah.
What, during that time, like, did you tell Pierre that you're wanting to change, but any of these thoughts?
No.
It was just stuff you were internalizing?
Yes. Yeah, I never shared that with him. I
Yeah.
just held it all in. Yeah.
What, so I heard what you said, Pierre, that like, hey, you're good. You're living your life and you're having a baby and you're fine.
Yes.
Did you notice any, like, did she change at all? Like what she just described, could you see any of that?
I just seen her doing less drugs with me. I seen her, she slowed down a lot. And I did tell her, I'm not going to slow down for you. I noticed she was paying more attention to the baby than she was with me. And that's something I really love about her. She put our baby before my abuse of drugs. And yeah,
And you noticed that back then?
yeah, I noticed it, and I was okay with it, like I noticed that she wanted to slow down, but she wouldn't reveal it to me. She wouldn't speak to me like, "Hey, I want to change" or anything. She was just kind of slowing down. I'm like, oh, that's good, like she could be, as long as she's at home taking care of the baby, I could be doing what I need to be doing out in the streets, So I was okay with that.
That's great that at least you could see the value in that. Because, some guys would be like, hey, you need to be giving all that attention to me. And we need to keep living like we were. But you're okay with her being the best mother she knew how with where you guys were.
I definitely didn't want our baby to be motherless or to be fatherless. So, our baby girl definitely made a change in my heart. I want to give her everything that I couldn't get when I was small, which was lots of love and care from both parents.
Yeah. Beautiful. When your mother met Pierre, what did she say?
She didn't like him. She didn't want to meet him. I told her I
She
fell
didn't
in
even
love.
want to meet him.
No, I told her I fell in love. It was like love at first sight, at least to me. I saw him, and first I was like kind of like, because I met him on social media. So I saw him, and it was just, we hit it off. And then I remember telling my mom, like, no, this is the guy, like, you have to meet him. She was like, no, like, yo no quiero cholos, meaning she didn't want like a gang member, like, for me. And she didn't want to meet him. And then eventually, like, I just introduced her to him. He just came to say hi, and I introduced them. But she wasn't too happy because he had left some of his paperwork at my home, and she saw it. So she was not too happy about who he was, what he did, and that he's been.
So like court papers?
Yeah.
She saw like.
So that day I had just gotten a gang unit into my house with like five officers, and they served me with a gang injunction. So I was part of an injunction where I'm not allowed to be in certain streets or areas with other gang members. So I remember just they had served me, and then I went straight to her house to go see her mom, and I forgot to take those papers with me, but I forgot them at her house, and her mom was not happy about.
So she
about
read.
That. She
Yeah.
she read it, and then she seen my picture on it, and she seen a bunch of pictures of my old friends in there. So it's like, I'm not sure what you got yourself into.
Can imagine she was real scared.
She was.
Because it's a life of potential crime and danger.
Yeah.
Why would they come to your house and serve you those papers? Like,
It's just a way the court system works. When they see a gang is getting too violent, they start putting gang members part of the injunction to avoid gangs rising up more. So they kind of put certain people in there that pretty much say, oh, this guy's active, this person's active. We need to put him in the junction. So if he does anything or even walk the streets with any gang members, it's a kind of a way of system for them to take us to jail right away.
Because
Without-
I've never heard, I've never heard this about this type of thing. Because we live in a free country. You know, I would think that you can go wherever you want to go in public. And so you didn't.
I mean, you could. It's just when you're on parole or probation, you're kind of limited with your freedom.
Your freedom.
Yes.
So they're the boss.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, got it. So when that was the first encounter that your mother had with Pierre, your husband, who's now your husband.
Yes.
So tell me, like, what happened after that?
So after that, she just kind of felt hopeless, and she just told me, like, look, like, just do whatever you think is best for you. I'm kind of, at the point of, I've already gave you A, B, C, D, and what to do, and, you're going to choose your own life. You're an adult now. And she told me I wasn't allowed to come to the house anymore, since I'm an adult and I'm making my own choices. So I used to come, like, to shower, and she's like, this isn't a hotel, like, if you want to be here, you can, but you got to do things right. So I respected her enough to just leave, and that's when I started to stay with him, and I didn't talk to her for a while until, like, I was about to give birth. Yeah.
Wow.
Hmm.
Did she come to the hospital when?
Yes, she did. She was there in the delivery room with us, yeah. She started to give Pierre a chance.
Is that when her heart started changing?
Yeah. She started to, like, I guess she told me that now we're going to have a baby to do things right. And she started to kind of, like, ease into Pierre.
What was your family home life like, Pierre?
It was really tough. When I was a little kid, I could say I did grow up in a Christian home. Definitely a surface Christian home. My parents, my mom and my dad wasn't rooted. We would go to church, but we would just claim the title as Christians. But I knew who God was. I knew Jesus, but I never encountered him. I never felt his love. Like, I know he was always there, but I never actually knew who he was. And just as I was growing up, I seen my dad would be really abusive to her. He would hit her. He would hit her a lot, where cops would come to our home for domestic violence. And as years passed by, my mom and my dad finally separate, and my dad moved away from, like, right across the street where we lived. So
He moved right across the street?
yeah, he got his own apartment with his other baby mama. So I have two stepsisters that live right across the street from us, and it was really toxic, their relationship, and my dad was really abusive to us. I feel like he was, like, not all there. Like, he probably went through something similar as a kid, so probably I think that's why he was just taking out his anger on us. And further on, my dad eventually got arrested and got deported.
Was he on drugs and alcohol and stuff? or anything?
He wasn't a drug addict. He wouldn't do alcohol. He was, like, a really strict dad. He would always make sure that we would look fresh with nice shoes, tuck in our shirts. But he was a thief, and he would commit, like, a lot of fraud and stuff. And finally, the cops caught onto him where he got caught up, and he got 2 strikes. Did, like, probably, like, 7 years in jail. And for the first time when he went to jail, I felt freedom. I felt happy. I felt joy. I feel like
Did you feel safe?
I feel safe for the first time, like in a very long time. Like, man, I'm finally gonna be able to go outside with my friends. My dad would never let us go hang out. Like, I never had a childhood where I could, like, ride my bike outside. My dad always kept us inside, and if he seen us outside, he would hit us a lot. So we just stayed inside. So for the first time, I felt like freedom.
Mm.
You could say that. I felt like I could finally live the childhood I want to live. And yeah, we just lost contact after that for a while. And as I grew older to, I say like 10, 11, my mom got a new boyfriend. One thing led to another where he moved in and he brought in his brother. So I started looking him as a stepdad and my mom's boyfriend brother as my step uncle. Uh, it was really nice in the beginning. They were really kind. Um, until a turning point happened. I say like at age 10 or 11. Between that time, something happened really bad to me where my step uncle started molested me. Me, my mom, my sister, my brothers would live in that small home, so I would sleep in the living room with our step uncle, and he just started molesting me, and I'm not sure. It was like a really bad moment for me at that time, and I just remember crying, and I wanted to tell my mom like what had happened, but I just felt like my mouth couldn't open up no more. I feel like shame. I feel like guilt, like I could have done something, but
It's understandable.
yeah, like my innocence was definitely stolen at that moment, and I just kept it in, like, and the abuse of him doing that kept on happening for quite a while, and my mom was just like, she was there. She would provide, food on the table. She would provide a roof over our table, and I'm forever grateful for that. But her focus wasn't on me and my brother or my sisters no more. Her focus were on her boyfriend. She put her full focus on her boyfriend, where she just like wouldn't pay attention to us no more. So
You're like 10, 11, 12 years old.
yeah, exactly. Like 11 at that age already. It'd been like a year since he would abuse me, and she started having like poker nights and stuff. So she would have poker nights where her boyfriend, a bunch of his friends would come over, and I remember a homosexual guy came over. I guess it was one of her friends that she met through him, and I just remember one night, everybody got drunk. My mom went upstairs with her boyfriend to go sleep, and I just remember in the middle of the night, my step uncle hold me down, and that homosexual guy, I guess my mom let him stay over, and
Mm.
he also sexually abused me. He molested me, and they just took turns, like where I just felt like my safe place, my dad finally being gone. I felt like that safe place was broken. I didn't feel like myself no more. I feel like my mom wasn't there no more. I wish I could have spoken up, but the devil had like a big muzzle over my mouth, definitely. And just time passed by where I think at the age of 13, I finally spoke up to them. Like, you guys need to stop touching me. I told them if eventually I'm gonna tell my mom, or call the cops on you guys. So they just stopped touching me. I felt since they were like Mexicans, like part of Mexico, they didn't have papers, so they probably were scared that I told them I was
Get
scared of
deported.
Get deported, exactly. I started using weed with my older brother. He introduced me into marijuana, and I remember my brother would be in and out of juvenile hall, and just as my brother got into juvenile hall, I looked up into him, so I was kind of following his footsteps from, smoking weed to start smoking meth, and
How old were you when you started smoking meth?
I was 13, freshman. I remember I was.
Do you like when you started smoking weed and then did meth? Looking back on it, do you feel like it kind of medicated the pain from being abused and going through all the stuff that you went through?
I know weed medicated definitely and numb me, but meth would keep me up. So every time I come home, uh, I'll see that they're having poker nights again. I'll just start smoking meth. I felt like my home wasn't a home no more. It was more like a casino or whatever my mom wanted to allow in her house. So as soon as I will be walking home and I see a lot of cars in front of my home, I just turn back to the streets, go across the alley with my friends, and start smoking meth in the garage. And it was
Wh-
just my way of escape. That's what it was. It kept me up all night. And then I'll return back home like around 8 in the morning. My mom just asked me, "Oh, where were you?" I just told her I was with my friend. She'll be like, she'll care, but not too much. So, and she wouldn't know that I was doing crystal meth. So, uh, yeah, that's when I started getting into gangs. Definitely, uh, crystal meth keeps you up, where you just start meeting other drug addicts, and one thing leads to another. Where I just joined a gang. And the reason for me joining a gang was I feel like protected. I feel like
Mhm.
I finally could protect myself. I feel like I have friends that could protect me. I felt tough for the first time when I joined a gang.
That's understandable. Your dad didn't protect you. He abused you. And then you were in an environment where other people ended up, there were people that should have protected you and didn't. And so I can understand why you would feel like you're all alone
Yeah.
and you're just a kid, really. And you have to try to figure out how you're going to exist and live, and then now you get an opportunity where there are other people that won't do you like that. They'll actually help protect you from any enemies,
Yes.
perceived enemies.
Yes, exactly. For the first time, I feel like I felt tough. I'm not sure. I know I was broken. Uh, I definitely hide my fears, my brokenness. It's like a mask that I just put on over my face, and put this tough guy, this tough gang active member. And to be honest, I was just mad at the world. I feel like no hope. I felt hopeless. I feel like the only thing for my life was now being a part of a gang, earn respect definitely, and just be active. Just start doing things that would lead me into juvenile hall and stuff. Like I feel like that was like my new lifestyle. I feel like that was my purpose.
Did you, like, when you're getting locked up and stuff like that, did you like enjoy that?
I didn't enjoy it, but it had its moments where I definitely would get a street credit, I guess. Getting down inside juvenile hall, and just definitely like a dumb mentality that I had back then. But
Yeah.
that was my way of thinking. I feel like the more I go inside juvenile hall, the more I, not just that, but just I'm stealing cars with my brother, and going to rival gangs, causing destruction. Definitely, it was just a lifestyle of being a gang member,
Hmm.
and yeah, it just time passed by where I just kind of adapted to it. Definitely.
So fast forward, you guys have your daughter now, and um, you're describing that I need change. You're happy living your life. You're happy that she's being a mom and stuff. Where did like how did Jesus come into y'all's life? Where did something who talked to you? What happened?
My mother-in-law started to go to church shortly. I think it was after COVID. So she started to go to church, and she invited us one day because at that time Pierre and I were always arguing. We just couldn't get along. I think I was at the point where I wasn't using as much anymore, like hardly ever. And then he was always like high. So there was a lot of arguments, and I remember she started to go to church. So she invited us, and we went to this church, and I don't remember where it was, but we went. And I remember hearing the worship, and I heard a song that I would hear when I was growing up. And it was like welcoming the Holy Spirit and allowing Him to come into your heart and to have His way. And I remember just singing it, and I just started to cry.
Wow.
And I was really like meaning it, like come and like heal my heart. And I felt His presence for the very first time.
When you experienced God's presence for the very first time, did it feel like He was mad at you, or was it love? Was it like
It was.
I'm here to help you?
It was just joy and like peace, like this.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, I can't even explain it. It's like, comfort, embrace, love, genuine love that you can't get anywhere else. No drugs, the world, nothing can give you that like sense of just happiness. I remember just crying, not because I was sad, but because like I just felt that love, like for the very first time. And that's when I started to realize like kind of I need God.
So here you are going to church for the very first time, encountering God's presence. And what I hear you saying is that God's not angry with you. He's not against you. He's loving you to try to help you and rescue you.
Yes.
Did you go home and tell Pierre about this? What?
No, I didn't tell him. I kind of just had my moment, and I just like kept it in. Yeah.
So how, beyond that, what, like Pierre, for you, how did, because you guys are here now. How'd you get saved and how'd you end up here?
Okay.
My brother-in-law brought me here. I remember it was like it was during Christmas time, 2020, to be exact. We would go to church, to different churches, but we were not planning either. We were just to attend some days here and there, once a month. I remember my mom, my sister, and us were like, "Oh, let's go to a church. It's Christmas season. Let's go look at the let's see what they have going on over there at the churches." And my brother-in-law was like, "Oh, there's a nice church that I go to. You guys want? We could come check it out." So our plan was just to be like it's the season. Let's go to church. I know some churches do like special events.
Yeah.
Food.
Yeah, food
Yeah.
and stuff. So we're like, okay, let's go to check this church out.
Yeah.
That was the first time I came to this church, the sanctuary, and it was beautiful. It was really beautiful. Moving forward a couple months, she finally actually did speak out that, babe, we need to start changing our lives. This is not the life I want my daughter to grow up in. So I remember me and her just started coming frequently, and we didn't knew nobody. We actually sat in the back row for like a good 6 months.
For
Really?
like a year.
Were y'all like, hey, we're not going to let anybody talk to us?
No, we would come up for the prayer. I mean, you would do the altar call, like if you need prayer and stuff, or you want to raise your hand. We would raise our hand so many times all the time when you would do the salvation call. But that's all we knew. Like, that's all. We didn't know, like, how to go deeper.
Yeah.
Yeah, we didn't know nobody. We were just kind of to ourselves. And I think a year later, I remember there was a event group host outside. There was a bunch of tents.
Connect groups.
Yeah, Connect groups. There you go, Connect groups.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember there was a Connect group called Sons of God. And I just remember some bald guy like, "Oh, hey, man, you want to sign up?" And I just looked at him, and I just walked past by him like, "Don't speak to me. Like, I'm going to go back home and, start smoking weed again. Like, I want to socialize with." But she definitely, babe, she was like, "Hey, babe, you should go talk to him. You need to start getting plugged in, start talking to guys here." And I just told her, "Nah, I'm okay, And she went back and we found out it was Eddie that was trying to speak to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, and and then my wife told Eddie, "Hey, Eddie, I know you don't know me, but try to talk to my husband again. You know, I'm sorry he was acting a little rude, but and just try one more time." And I was already heading to the parking lot to go to the car. I left her behind. I'm like, "Oh, you wanna do all this? I'm good."
Yeah.
And I just remember Eddie chasing me down to the parking lot, and he was like, "Hey, bro, you know, I know I spoke to you back there, but let me introduce myself. My name's Eddie. I'm hosting a connect group. You know, I would love to have you there, just to go deeper and to know God more." And for the first time, I was like, you know what, like, all right, I'll go, I guess, you know. But
Wow.
yeah, I was just like literally saying, I'll go just to get him off my back, but my plan was to never
Not to
show up,
go, yeah.
not to show up, but my wife definitely pushed me to go, and I can say, you know, that was the first time actually starting to know who God really was. You know, they will break down the scriptures and deep dive into it. I'm like, many of the things that we were being lectured started hitting my heart, my soul. I'm like, man, like this is like what I'm going through. Like it just started like adding up, you know. Like, yeah, for the first time I went back home. I told my wife, like, babe, you know what, like, thank you for telling me to go, you know, for pushing me. Yeah.
So you told her that?
Yeah, he was on fire. He got on fire. He started to like preach to me, and he started talking about tongues, and I wasn't even nowhere near there. I just knew I wanted Jesus. So I was like, what's going on? Like, he's a little too changed. Like, I'm not there yet. But
So
yeah.
you're like, I wanted him to change, but I didn't want him to change that much?
Yeah, that's how I felt at the moment. I did. I felt like, whoa, what's going on? Like, I want you to do good, but like you're just a whole different person. Like, I didn't recognize him anymore. Yeah.
Was there a moment where you're like, okay, I'm going to follow him now?
Yes.
Like he's going deeper.
Yes.
I'm not going to get left behind.
Yes, there was. There was when I started to see like this whole brand new Pierre, like where we would be getting food and he'll pull over and be like, I need to go pray for this lady. And I'm like, okay, like I didn't know and what was going on, and she ended up spitting in his face. And I just remember telling him, like, I don't know if you should be doing this. And then he would like minister to me and tell me, like, no, like in the word it talks about how this is what we're called to do. And he would begin to just minister to me, and it wasn't even him anymore. It was like the Holy Spirit working. And yeah, like I started to jump on board. He was leading me that way. Yeah.
When you guys started taking those steps here, and I love the fact that you kept coming, even though you weren't like engaging in meeting people at that point, but you kept coming, even though you would go home and smoke weed, but you didn't stop coming. But then came this point where your life really began to change.
Yeah.
Did you develop relationships with people here in the church?
Yes, we did. Eventually, like, we had a lot of the leaders start to talk to us, or they would pray for us, and we started to attend connect groups, and they would text us, like, hey, like, how are you? How's it going? And then, yeah, we started to build those relationships like that. We started to, like, be welcoming. We started to be open to community, to having friendships. Yeah, the connect groups helped a lot.
So as a result of just where you were, can you sit here and just like see the clear like thing? I mean, can you see the pathway clearly? Like, wow, our lives have really changed a whole lot.
Yeah, definitely.
Yes,
It has
big
definitely
time.
changed. I just want to share this. There was a point where I was working, and I had an encounter by God. You know, I was just remember just worshiping. She was still a little cold at that time with God, but I was praying for her. And at that time, I was already on fire. I remember trying to speak in tongues. You know, I didn't know all of that, but I just remember God telling me, "You can't have two masters. You must serve one or the other." And that's like, I just started crying. You know, as I was in my work truck. And that's when I decided to to leave the gang. I'm like, this is enough. The devil has stolen enough time from me. I invested so much. Like, I need to start investing in the kingdom of God. And I remember, I couldn't wait to go back to my connect group, to go speak to my leaders about this. Like, man, I had an encounter, man, with God. I like, He's telling me to leave my gang, but all this investment that I put in, I'm a second striker, like, all that from juvenile hall to county to prison, like, all that's gonna be left behind. Like, what should I do? I was kind of hoping they were like over here, like, oh, it's okay to be part of a gang, but no, like, God gave me specific instructions, and I know, it was time for me to leave it behind. So, it was just a
Was
beautiful.
that hard? Was that hard to walk away from the gang?
Yeah, it was like the biggest pill in my life that I ever swallowed. Yeah, but it was worth it, definitely. I thank God that He gave me the strength to do that. I remember you calling me, asking if you could join me to speak to one of the leaders of the gang, so they wouldn't touch me up. But I remember I told you, it's okay. It's a battle I have to face on my own. That I just didn't want you to get hurt. I didn't want both of us to walk out with black eyes. So I just simply declined. And I just remember the next day, I just told them that I didn't want to be involved no more, and they weren't happy, definitely. And one day they came to my house. It was 5 of my homies, and I told them, guys, like, I'm okay on this gang stuff. I was one of the leaders over like 12 youngsters, so 5 of those youngsters were there, and a leader were there. So they were kind of like in shock, like, man, one of our leaders is trying to tell us, like, he's not gonna be involved with this gang no more, like. Yeah, I just remember one of the older homies, like, you know what you're doing, right? I told him, yeah, I do. Like, they told me, this is supposed to be for life. I tell them I'm okay on that, like, you guys do what you gotta do, but, I'm a changed man now. I encounter God, and I hope you guys encounter God one of these days. And then they just told me, you already know what time it is, you already know what you got coming. And I just told them it's fine, like, I'm not scared, like, you guys could hurt my body. You guys could break my bones. You guys could damage me, but you guys will never destroy my faith. And they just started like manifesting. They started getting mad, and they took me to the back alley, and I just started getting jumped. I covered myself. My pride wanted to take down 2 guys at least, but that I had to swallow my pride and show the perfect example of Christ. They left me on the floor, blood, broken. I felt betrayal for the first time from my young homies that I was leading. And I went home, and my wife started telling me, like, oh, what happened to you? And she seen me, and she started crying. My mom started crying, like, what happened? And I told you to not go outside. I told them, it's okay, babe, like, this had to be done. I just remember they were trying to lecture me, but I just told them, just leave me a couple of minutes by myself. I went upstairs to my bedroom. I closed the door. And I just remember just breaking down into tears, crying, like, man, like, God, thank you so much for giving me a clear vision. Like, thank you for giving me your strength. And I just remember breaking down, God, just please forgive them, just as you told your father to forgive them, for they don't know what they do. I ask you to forgive them as well, Father, because they're blind, and I used to be blind just as them. And I just remember I couldn't walk for a couple of weeks, no movement, but, I started coming back to church again, and I just felt like brand new. I knew I had to get baptized. I know that was the next step, and so I told my wife, like, we need to get baptized.
Wow.
That was the new lifestyle I wanted to live,
We knew we wanted to go all in.
So powerful. I've known all kinds of people. I've never heard anybody be willing to do what you just did. And have you seen those people since then, any of them?
Yeah. So after that happened, I wouldn't hide in my home. I definitely didn't hide. I would go outside. My wife would tell me, "Stop going outside. You're gonna get attacked again." I told her it's okay. You know, I'm walking with Christ. I'm not gonna hide it like a coward. And I just would walk outside with my daughters. You know, like that was a routine I usually did after work. Is walk around the streets with my daughter, just take her on a simple walk, and they will see me. I remember 3 of the youngsters told me, "Hey, my bad. You know, we had to do because the leader was there." I told them it's all right. You know, I just pray for God to one of these days for Him to touch you, and they told me that no, it's fine. You know, and I remember them hugging me. I hugged them back, and I know God is gonna take me back one of these days to proclaim back in the neighborhood.
It's powerful. Powerful.
Yes. Yeah.
You know, it's since I've known you, I've just watched your guys' life blossom. And you guys have become, you can see your level of commitment, your passion for Jesus, your commitment to Jesus. And I know that for you, your daughters, your future, I know that God's got you, and it's just going to continue to get more and more beautiful.
Amen.
Thank you guys
Yes.
for sharing your story.
Yeah, thank you
Amen.
for having
Thank
us.
you for having us. Yeah.